live. The Grim Roasters here, coming at you a little bit later today from a town near you. I am Upward Ninja, and with me I have the Fallen King. We're about to lay some real nasty facts for you. If you can't take it, you gotta leave, man. This isn't a safe space. But anything to say, Paul, before we get started?
Before I get started, check my channel out, The Fallen King. I'm suspended, so I won't be on there for 2 weeks. But if you're new to the channel, subscribe to the roasters, and we're just gonna give y'all some good information. So stay tuned. And if y'all playing with yourself, uh, send some pictures to me if you're a girl.
There we go. Yeah, you got to clear that part up, right? And my channel, Upward Ninja, I had multiple channels taken down, some controversial stuff on that one. And advice for anybody that's ever gotten a strike: we're going to use your story for some positivity here, and that is do not post within that time period. Let the strikes just kind of work their way out. Because I made that same mistake. I had 2 strikes. I was playing a risky game, upload a third video. Boom, my channel was down like that. So I don't know how many strikes you have. In fact, we can talk about that right now. The current state of YouTube and the dumpster fire that it is, taking out anybody who speaks an opposite opinion of the mainstream. This is an impromptu topic. This wasn't even on the set, but let's go.
Yeah. I got 2 strikes, so I might not record even when I come back into the Star Wars come out.
Yeah, I was gonna recommend that you could make a backup channel and private all your videos because they can flag older stuff. So private all your videos, and maybe make like a farewell video. They can't flag that because it's just gonna be you talking. Just be like, you know what? They're trying to take me out. Just letting you guys know I won't be making a video until Rise of Skywalker comes out. And since we're on the topic of Rise of Skywalker, we we have some words for this movie. Let's just say that. And we're thinking, how bad can this movie possibly be? We already know it'll be complete garbage. The movies have actually progressively gotten worse. Last Jedi, we had a good 30, 45 minutes of good content. Hype behind it maybe have helped. I don't know. But it was an overall good experience, at least walking into the theater. I'll say that.
You talking about Force Awakening?
I mean, sorry, yeah, Force Awakens. Sorry.
I was like, Last Jedi had no 30 minutes.
Sorry. Yeah, you got me on that. Force Awakens, going into the movie, you were hyped to see a Star Wars movie. No one's arguing that.
Yeah.
But the hype quickly died down as we saw how garbage the movie was. Last Jedi, as you were saying, is the opposite. We went in, and I don't even know why I bought a ticket. For some reason, I was just bored or something. I didn't even buy it day one, though. I was just like, you know what? I have nothing to do. Go see a movie. The movie, no redeeming factors. Went into the movie with low expectations and was still let down. I don't know how they managed to do that, but they actually managed to disappoint a fan base who had an expectation extremely low. We went in thinking, okay, the movie will be a 5 out of 10 at best. The movie is, there's like a weird little part where they go and they talk about saving animals. Like that was completely out of left field. One of the coolest characters gets killed off, at least we think, Captain Phasma. What else happens in that movie? You don't even get a legitimate lightsaber duel. They just try to rip off Vader versus Obi-Wan with Kylo Ren and Luke. Complete failure in that regard. And then to top it all off, the final insult is Rey ends up being deemed not only the last Jedi, but a powerhouse that saves the entire resistance at the end of the movie without doing any proper training. But we already know she's one of the greatest Jedi of all time with 0 training because she actually beats Luke in this movie. We could go on for hours ranting about these movies, but that brings us to the final movie in this trilogy, Rise of Skywalker. I finally got the title right, by the way, because every time I say it, I'm like, what is this movie called? I always say Rise of the Skywalker because Rise of Skywalker doesn't really make much sense. But I'm going to pass this over to you. How bad do you think this movie will be? Score out of 10, and what do you think are some plot points of the movie that you will particularly hate? This is all speculation. we did read some of the leaks, but let's just assume the leaks are not real and just kind of start from ground zero here. So, what do you think is going to happen in this movie that will make it so bad? Can it save the legacy of the franchise? Go.
This is gonna be so god awful. I won't even be surprised if Mickey Mouse come out of nowhere in the middle of the movie.
I
I just think it's ridiculous that Palpatine is coming back. I think it's a pathetic attempt to save Star Wars. This isn't gonna go the way we wanted to. Remember, Luke said that in the the last movie, but I don't think this is gonna go the way we want it to. And I just think it's gonna suck. I don't believe in the directions that it's going to, and it's gonna suck if we don't even get a really really good lightsaber battle because we sure as hell didn't get it in Last Jedi. This movie was a mess, man. I go on to you. My throat's dry and I need something wet down my throat.
True, true. I actually made a speculation video. It's not really a speculation, it's like a video about what I think will happen in the movie or like to see that happens in the movie. And I read some of the leaks. I don't know if I'm a little bit ahead of you, but the
You are.
leaks, I was talking
I haven't heard it. I haven't
I
read anything, so
I
you
was
are.
talking to somebody about this yesterday, and I'm a massive Star Wars fan. My Star Wars knowledge have died down in the past couple of years because I don't even want to look at anything Star Wars. It literally makes me sick because I think of the new movies. But I heard that Palpatine has two new abilities, and Disney's sitting there acting like this is all original. They're like, he has a Force Drain ability, and I'm like, okay, so he's Darth Nihilus now. And then it's like, oh, he has a Force Storm too. That's a cool new ability. I'm like, that's Darth Revan. Like both of those are their signature moves: Force Drain and Force Storm. So apparently, and this is a spoiler alert if you somewhat care. I don't. Do you care? First of all, Fallen
I
King.
don't care
Oh, you don't
because
care. Okay.
this movie's trash.
Well, apparently, Kylo Ren is going to be killed by Palpatine, but then Rey is going to kill Palpatine, and they even ripped off Naruto in a way because I was talking about that too yesterday to somebody. Apparently, uh, Palpatine is going to get like a Genjutsu move. If you don't know what Naruto is, it's basically like Force Stasis. Kylo Ren has it too, and he's going to gain the ability to steal energy or chakra from other Force users. So that's like the Darth Nihilus or the Sasuke Rinnegan move that he has, and he apparently is going to take Kylo Ren's energy or something like that, drain his Force ability. So basically, Rey is fighting like an ultra powered up Super Saiyan Palpatine, and it's more powerful than we ever seen. And I read, and there's like a little edit note or direction note or whatever it's called, where it says Palpatine gets so powerful that his eyes turn from yellow to red. So like he gets like like I said, a super powered up Palpatine. And somehow Rey defeats him. It's not specific on how, but this is all in the leaks here. So if you managed to stay around, I mean, shout out to you. You definitely don't care about this movie. And the ending is apparently like the remastered version of Return of the Jedi, where they have the little party at the end, and you see the Force ghost. And we're not 100% sure, but I think Hayden Christensen and Ewan McGregor, aka Obi-Wan and Anakin, are coming back. That has been speculated. There's just gonna be just some heavy-handed nostalgia basically in this movie. So they're gonna say, you know what? We know people hated the prequels. We tried to avoid the prequels altogether. There are even some throwaway lines in The Force Awakens where they say, "Oh, they're not clones anymore," because they're like, "Hey, aren't these clone troopers clones?" And then essentially Disney's like, "Okay, that's from the prequels, so no, they're not. They're not clones anymore. They're just people, babies that were kidnapped." And I guess they saved the prequel stuff for this movie just in case the nostalgia of 4, 5, and 6 didn't get you. Will get you with the nostalgia from mainly episode 3. That widely was agreed to be the best prequel movie. I agree. So leaks. How do you think those leaks sound? This is just the ending, but it just sounds so bad that I don't think it was worth it to go back and read some of the leaks because the entire movie has been leaked. Allegedly. That ending sounds horrible though.
Yeah, it does. It sounds really bad. Like they made her so powerful. What is the point of this movie?
Yeah.
That's how I'm thinking. Like she beat the bad guy in 7. She beat the bad guy in 8. Now she's
And
gonna beat the bad guy in 9.
and I forgot to bring this up, but apparently they said Kylo Ren turns good. We're going back in time before he gets killed by Palpatine. He turns good, and they shoehorn the Knights of Ren in this movie. They say he has to fight the Knights of Ren because the Knights of Ren are defenders of Palpatine. But I thought the Knights of Ren were followers of Kylo Ren. Like they're
Yeah.
literally just at the end of the movie, just out of nowhere. Like people forgot they existed. I didn't forget, but because they're in the flashbacks in Force Awakens, it's just so convoluted. Like it's just bad storytelling, essentially. Like because
Yeah.
how are they going to bring characters in that we don't care about? No character development, right? Hey, these are the Knights of Ren. They're probably going to say it directly, right? We were talking a little bit before the show went live, and there were a lot of spoon feeding the audience moments in Force Awakens. And I was sitting there in the theater like, wow, they have to give us this directly? Like, can they have saved some of this juiciness? So yeah, Kylo Ren's Knights of Ren essentially beats him to the point where he's so weak, and then he can't fight Palpatine. Palpatine I assume he sacrifices himself to save Rey because they love doing that BS, right? He jumps in front or something and takes the Force drain ability. So he's about to drain Rey, instead he drains Kylo Ren, and then they do like a little Dragon Ball Z moment where he looks up at Rey and says, "You know what? You're the chosen one. You can have the rest of my energy." He gives her the energy. She beats a super powered up Palpatine somehow, and the movie ends Return of the Jedi style with a party. It's sick.
Oh, that's gonna be bad if that happens.
If that's the real ending,
Ugh.
I may walk out if the Knights of Ren show up, and then I'll just know, okay, the leaks were right.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah. It's bad, yeah.
It's god awful. It's like it's like you have millions of dollars, really billions of dollars
Yeah.
invested into Star Wars. You couldn't hire the best writers. You couldn't hire people that's gonna take care of Star Wars. Like I don't get it. This is so bad. You would think a child wrote this script, especially Episode 8. Like
Yeah.
these storylines is just. Ugh.
I mean, a lot of the fans just say the movies ended 30 years ago, right? 4, 5, and 6 were the last ones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everything else was a money grab. Let's just be real.
Yeah.
The Jar Jar Binks. I mean, the Jar Jar. Yeah, Jar Jar Binks and all that.
Oh, you're even saying 1, 2, and 3. Yeah, 1, 2, and 3 aren't necessary films if you went that far. But I mean, that was my first experience with Star Wars, so maybe I have a soft spot in my heart for that because. Well, first theater experience, not first ever. First ever, I saw 4, 5, and 6, but then I was of age to go to the theater.
Yeah.
I wasn't even born when the original ones came out, right, in 1977.
And I actually liked the prequels at the time because I was a kid.
Yeah,
but
it was made for kids. Yeah, it was made for kids.
Now.
And I don't know if this movie's made for kids because most of the people are saying that the new ones aren't good, even kids. You can watch kid reviewers on YouTube that are 10, 12 years old, and they're saying, in their high-pitched kid voice, this movie sucks. and I'm sitting there like, yes, at least they're on the right path. Right? They know that these movies are catered to them, and they're not taking the bait.
It's catered to everything except it's catered to every group except Star Wars fans.
Yeah, the feminists,
the little kids. I mean, it's catered to everything except for the real fucking fan base.
Yeah, it's like, okay, you're gonna make it. I was about to say something that made this video bad, so I can't say that. But they're making movies for the alphabet community. They're making movies for the pink-haired feminist. They're trying to throw black character diversity, so they have a black, an Asian. Like, I'm obviously I'm not racist or anything, but I'm like, dude, we know what you're doing. Rose is a pointless character. They just threw her in there because she was a random Asian woman that they needed, right? They Finn is literally a stereotypical character, but they claim they threw him in for diversity. But and Paul, you made a video about this on your old channel. It might have been the new one
New
where you
one too.
said, "Oh yeah," where you said Finn was a stereotypical black like slave type character, right?
Yeah,
The
he's a
shucking
black.
and
You
yeah,
said what?
the shucking and jiving type character. And I don't remember what YouTuber said it, but they said that Finn is a blackface character that's actually black. Essentially, that's like a perfect description, right?
What's sad, there was rumors and information that they cut a lot of his scenes. He was supposed to be an important character until people complain, oh, there's a black stormtrooper.
Yeah,
So for the racists, you probably ruined Star Wars
yeah.
because they was gonna have a different type of Force Awakening, but they remade a lot of scenes because people was pissed that Finn was the main character.
It's funny that you said that because you just reminded me. There is a novelization of The Force Awakens where Finn is a completely different character.
Yep, he
There's
was
two
supposed to be.
Yeah, there's two characters. There's a character that is like a bumbling idiot and he messes everything up. It's Finn's best friend in the book. He's not in the movie. He's like a bumbling idiot, and Finn always looks after him. He's like the perfectionist. He does everything right. But being around this bumbling idiot teaches him a lesson that, hey, maybe everyone's not meant to be a stormtrooper. Maybe I'm not meant to be a stormtrooper. It's almost like a fake out thing because
Yeah.
you think the bumbling idiot's going to be the detractor, but it's actually him because he realizes, okay, this isn't right. People should have the right to choose. And then he goes against the first order. There's no character development in the movie because he's just like, "Ooh, I'm out of here, baby," and even like he just like says like, "Hell yeah," stuff like that. Like he's just like, "I'm out of here," and just leaves the first order for seemingly no reason.
Hmm.
But yeah, no development for Finn in the movies. Kind of
Yeah, in
weird there.
episode 8, definitely.
Yeah,
Like,
they could have saved his character. I think they should have completed his character arc by killing him. So what I
yeah.
mean by he should have flown in because he would have died for killing destroying the thing that ruined his life. It's like it's like if you watch anime, it's like a Vegeta moment where he goes against Majin Buu and he does the massive explosion. It's like okay, his character dies off, but at the same time, it completes his arc. He
Yeah.
starts off being a slave to the First Order, goes against the First Order. The explanation is not good, but the ending is super memorable, right? He ends up dying for something for what he believes in, something the First Order could never do because they have disposable heroes for the most part, right? They have
Mm.
unlimited troopers that they can dispatch, but this guy's willing to sacrifice it all. Even though he knows that it won't take out the First Order, but it'll save the Resistance, and in turn, maybe they could take out the First Order, right? So it's like waiting for the next generation to get the job done. But instead, they have Rose, the most annoying character, diversity hire character that there is, end up saving him because she's in love with him, even though there's no signs that previously that they're in love. And I think she kisses him or something and just falls out. I think they were going to give her the Han Solo treatment. So they were going to, you know, how he got frozen in the carbonite, and then they were deciding should we bring him back, should we not? Uh, Instead, and unfortunately, they did bring the Rose character back. She didn't die off, but it would have been even cool if she had flown into the thing. Like you don't have to do this. Boom, flies into the thing. Then you're like, okay, they're not afraid to kill characters off. These are things that could have at least put a band-aid on the bullet wound that is The Last Jedi. By no means am I saying that these plot points, these changes will make the movie good. I'm just saying that look at me. I'm riffing right here. I'm making this stuff up on the fly. And it's one of those things where you have the writers that are paid millions of dollars that should sit at a panel and throw around ideas. And sadly enough, they came up with essentially nonsense, essentially something that, like you were saying earlier, a child could have came up with, right?
You know what Star Wars should let us do as fans?
Fan scripts, right?
No, what Disney Star Wars should do is have a Comic Con with all the writers, like so we can ask all these questions on
Oh,
why they did this. Like, I
oh,
wish I could like stand next to all the fucking writers that helped with Force Awakening, The Last Jedi, and whatever this fucking movie's called, because I forgot the fucking name, because the name is so fucking stupid. But
it's
I
so
wish,
confusing.
yeah, it's so confusing. So I wish I would go to that Comic Con. I would pay money to travel to meet every single fucking writer for these fucking trilogy for this trilogy and ask questions because I'm mind blown.
Yeah, that would be crazy if they had a like a raw and uncensored panel.
They
Nothing
won't
held
do it.
back. They won't do it. Yeah, if you start asking a question, some security guard's gonna run up and take your mic. So you're
Yep.
like, yeah, why did you decide?
Yeah,
Don't
yeah,
question
tackle
anything.
you.
Yeah,
Yeah,
don't
kick
question
your
anything.
ass.
Right? The moment you say, "Why did you?" My God,
And you know what Disney Marvel should do?
what is that?
Because all the fans is in pain because they fucked up Star Wars. They should have all the writers like line up, sit down, and we should throw vegetables and fruit at them.
Old
Like we
school
should
method
throw
of public
vegetables.
shaming.
Yeah, we should throw tomatoes at the writers. That would be entertaining. That would be something we will talk about for generations. Because I want to throw something at them. It
Yeah,
would be interesting if that happened.
I like the fact that you said that will be something that we'll talk about for generations because what memorable moments do we have in this new trilogy so far?
Nothing.
No, even Han Solo's death was predictably bad. It wasn't good. It wasn't a proper way to send off the character. There was no redemption, and in fact, his character shouldn't have even been there because he quit being a smuggler. He comes back out of nowhere. You see Chewbacca and Han Solo walk on the Millennium Falcon, and there's a weird moment where the movie itself pauses and there's no music playing. And I was thinking they expected the audience to applause here. No one clapped at the theater I was at. It was at the point where everyone knew the movie was sucking. So they were just like, "This, what is this? Do they think we're that stupid?" That's a good point too. This movie is like a play on our intelligence, right? Like
Yeah,
we could throw flashy stuff on screen and you'll still buy it, and no one took the bait. Well, very few people took the bait. There were I can't lie here. There were people that said, this movie's great, it's worth it.
but those are the only ones that was getting paid off. Most people hated these movies.
Yeah,
Most people.
yeah.
Uh,
And I remember you said you were gonna do this, and we might do this on another show. And we're about 20 minutes in on this. So I think it's time to move on to the next topic here. But we should do a call out video on these big YouTubers. I mean,
Oh, oh
I
yeah, I was gonna do that
yeah.
once the new Star Wars movie came
Oh,
out.
okay.
I was going to do reaction videos on the YouTubers that said it was good.
So
So
there's a little preview for you guys watching. We're gonna do that. I think both of us should do that. Like the Chris Stuckman, the Jeremy Johns. Who's another one? The
hey,
nerd comedy.
hey, hey, maybe tomorrow we should do reaction videos on people that said the Last Jedi was good.
Yeah,
I think we'll get a lot of views.
yeah. It because they're I mean, at this point, collectively between the two movies, there's like hundreds of things wrong with these movies, hundreds of points, and not nitpicking either. Like if we nitpick, we could maybe be able to get to thousands. I'm not even kidding.
Yeah. The only thing we will remember from 7, 8, and 9 that Ray was super powerful. She was overpowered. That's the only memorable moment of this trilogy. I'm gonna
So,
remember that Ray was powerful. That was it.
so do you think the theory that she has had her memory wiped could save the franchise? A lot of people are
No.
saying that. They're saying you don't think so. You don't think because they're gonna rip off the Darth Revan storyline and say, you know what, she was a Sith Lord at one point or another, and she had her memory wiped to protect her because that was the only thing that could stop her. I mean, sorry, to protect the galaxy. She had her memory wiped to protect the galaxy because that was the only ability for some reason that could protect the galaxy or stop her. Like she was just so OP that they had to wipe her memory, and even still, she had the muscle memory there, and she still was ultra powerful.
I mean, I might sound like a sexist, but I don't want my main superhero being a girl. I don't care. People's gonna be mad. People won't understand, but we got Luke Skywalker. He was the great hero in the original trilogies. It just doesn't make sense. We go to a girl. It's a guy's film. If you ask most girls, do they watch Star Wars? A lot of them's gonna say no, or
Yeah,
I watch it with my. And then a lot of them they're gonna say they don't buy merchandise. So you
yeah,
should pander to your fan base that's mostly men.
yes, yeah. Because like you were saying, I've met a couple of girls that like Star Wars, and I asked them how they got into it, and they said that they just like the cosplay as the characters. Like
Exactly.
they like, oh, I like the cosplay as Rey or the sexy Princess Leia bikini. That was super popular. It still is,
Yeah,
right? A lot of girls they
that's it
dress
though.
that they wear the collar. That's dick getting hard. We got some pre-com leaking. No
You
kidding.
might get some girls that's hardcore Star Wars fans, some, but it is not the majority of the fan base. I'm telling
Yeah,
you,
yeah.
most
Like
girls go for cosplay. That's it.
yeah, because they like to dress up, they like the attention. And like you said, this is gonna sound sexist, right? If we get the wrong person watching this, boom, Thanos snap, right? But but yeah, they don't they aren't really into it like the males are, right? You could make a movie about anything and they're looking at the movie thinking, oh, I'm dressing up as Ray, I'm dressing up as who's a new female character. That's it, right?
Yeah,
Rose. I mean, you can how could you dress up as Rose? He's just like in a little uniform or whatever.
she was
Or a
pretty bad.
gender bender Kylo Ren. I've seen that, right? Where
Yes,
they have like the sexy corset on and the heels and the Hasbro
I seen girls
lightsaber.
dressed like Luke Skywalker at Comic
Yeah,
Cons.
yeah,
Like I seen a girl had the same outfit as Luke in Return of the Jedi, not all black with the green
yeah,
lightsaber.
yeah,
Like I seen it.
yeah,
So Star Wars is visually beautiful, where the costumes is amazing to wear on.
yeah.
But that's it.
It seems like it would be fun to get right. Like I'm thinking about doing like a Darth Neelist cosplay for next year, Halloween, or maybe May 4th, right? May the 4th be with you type thing. They have
Mhm.
events like that where I'm at, so
Did I tell you when I saw Force Awakening, I had the Kylo Ren outfit on? I mean the costume, and I felt like a total jackass after I
yeah,
watched the movie. I wanted to burn the costume. I wanted to strip naked, burn the costume, and walk into the bus and pay my $1.75
yeah,
to go back home. It was just that bad. I
yeah.
felt like a
I had one of those saber forged lightsabers clipped on my belt as I walked in. My theater didn't allow masks because people like the boom boom they claim. So
Mhm.
they're like, if you're wearing a mask, you seem sketchy.
But I felt like a jackass. I had the lightsaber too. I mean, I really went out the
I
way.
did too. Yeah,
I spent like over $1,000 on Star Wars
yeah,
Force Awakening merchandise. I felt like a jackass. I'd never do it again. I would have
yeah.
to watch the movie before I buy money on merchandise.
Yeah, it's bad.
Hello?
Yeah, yeah. Sorry, there's like a what's it called? Leaf blower outside. I don't know if you guys can hear that. I muted my mic just to try to stop it. But yeah, I think Star Wars. Closing thoughts here. Let's wrap this up. It's going to be pretty bad. It's going to be one of those movies, and we were talking about it a little bit before the stream. It may be a bigger disappointment than Endgame, but maybe not because the zombies thought the Marvel movies were good. They were like Infinity War, good. Captain America, what's it, Civil War, good. What's the one that came out before that? Let's not even go in the order. Captain Marvel, good. They were
Yeah.
saying the movies were good, and then so their brains so weirded out that they're like, you know what, Endgame has to be good, and for some reason they said it's good. At least with Star Wars, like you said, like we were both saying, people admitted that The Last Jedi sucked. They said it's an insult to the Star Wars franchise. Nothing happened in the movie, and Rey is just too powerful. Everyone kind of had that feeling. So that's why I don't think it's going to be a bigger disappointment because the true fans knew Endgame sucked, but that's pretty much it. That's a small margin because look at the people that buy comic books versus the people that see movies, right? Comics sell probably 30,000 copies a month. That movie made like $1 billion in 1 month, didn't it? So the markets are so different.
You
But
know what? You know what video we should make in the future?
what is that?
is Disney Marvel lying about the numbers that
Yeah,
they make in Blockbuster? Like, is millions of people or billions of people really watching these films?
yeah. There's been articles on that actually. So I guess
Yeah.
great minds
Are they
think
lying?
alike. Yeah, because I briefly came across one and it said, is Disney buying their own tickets or are they overinflating? Because their budget is unlimited, right?
Yeah.
So they can pay these theaters, buy these empty seats out and say, oh, this movie's sold out. Because when I went to see Endgame, for example, and that's still Disney, there was a lot of empty seats. But I bought my ticket online, but there's like a little banner that scrolls on the theater that I'm at.
Hmm.
So the banner said sold out, and I'm like, where? How is it sold out? There's at least that theater fits like 80 people, maybe even more than that, maybe 120. I think it fits. It fits 120 people, and there was like 30 or 40 empty seats all around me.
Yeah, you can't tell me that 30 or
Yeah,
40 people had something to do, so they just couldn't
yeah,
make it.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, so it's like, yeah, excellent point. Disney buys their own. They buy out the remaining tickets.
Oh, would that time? Would you? Do you think we would get flagged down if we say Disney buys their own tickets?
Not really. No, I don't think so.
Okay.
We just have to say it's a theory. It's a theory, right?
Yeah.
It's a theory based off of observation. So we saw, and I don't know, was yours sold out? It was sold out in number, like ticket wise, but the seats weren't filled, were they?
Mine's were full
Oh,
filled.
they were full. Okay,
Where I was at, they were filled.
okay.
At Indianapolis, they eat these fucking films up. I
Oh,
don't get it.
yeah,
I
yeah.
don't.
Because yeah, I try to go in the morning because it's like, okay, there's no kids around, and there were a lot of kids that saw Endgame, but there was a lot of empty seats too. But it said sold out, so I was a
Yeah.
little bit weirded out by that.
It
It might
makes
be
sense.
that it might be a time thing too, because people do go to movies at night. If I go to a movie at night, it will be sold out. It'll be
I didn't go
seats
at
filled.
night.
Oh, you didn't go?
I didn't go at night.
Oh,
I went in the daytime. I mean, you live in California, so it's more shit to do.
yeah.
California is girls, beach, stuff like that. In Indianapolis, it's cold, it's boring, it's nothing really to do. Movies is a huge choice
Yeah.
for you to go to. So certain cities, when it's boring, most people either go to the movies. It's movies or play video games at home. It's not.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
not.
Because for me, around here, people go, like you said, they do eat these big movies up, but it's like not a craze. It's like,
Yeah.
okay, we'll go to the movies to see Endgame. I'll buy my tickets. I'll see it the next Monday, or I'll see it release day in the morning, like me, right?
Yeah,
You
it
got,
depends on the
yeah,
city.
yeah. It depends. Yeah, because if I let's say I go to like northern, of where I am, that's not a big city, the seats will be filled. Like
Yeah.
the last movie that I saw that was filled up and not in my area, I had to go like 60 miles out because I was going to a guitar event too. So I was like, oh, I'll see Batman versus Superman, right? And that was release day, and I had my Bruce Wayne shirt on and looking hyped. And that movie was full. That movie was, and that was it was like 2 p.m. or something.
That movie was awful.
Yeah, it was one of those things where like I walk into the theater knowing that it's bad and it just expecting like an inch, a grain of redemption or good moments, and it had it. I'm not gonna completely front. I did like the Doomsday fight. I think it was better than the in-game fight because there
You
was
like the
actual.
Doomsday fight?
Yeah, because it
That was god awful. Oh,
because
the only parts I like was when Batman was in that kind of desert and he was
oh
fighting
yeah,
those
yeah.
people. That's the only scene I like. Besides that, this movie was toxic.
The reason I like the Doomsday fight because there was a sense of tension, and I didn't expect Superman to die. Because I knew they were doing Death of Superman, and I knew they were doing Dark Knight Returns. That's essentially
Yeah.
what they ripped off, right? And I was like, okay, they're doing Death of Superman, but they can't kill him off because this is only his second movie. And then they killed him off. So like, oh, okay.
And you know what's sad? They did the Death of Superman like Superman was really good in the 90s with the comic books of the
Yeah.
death of Superman, and then they had all these clone Superman. You know how great the movies would have been, and we got the clone Superboy and stuff
Yeah.
like that, and Man of Steel. And like they could have branched out a franchise of just different type of Superman movies, like the fucking comic books in the '90s, but they didn't even touch it.
They were scared because it's an obscure storyline, right? Reign of the Superman.
Yeah,
Yeah,
if we could have saw all type of Supermans,
yeah.
that would have been great.
I mean, think about Miles Morales, right? That movie didn't Disney or whoever owned Sony said that they expected the movie to be a failure because people
I
weren't.
didn't hear about that.
Yeah, they would
They were
not.
scared to make a live action. I
Yeah,
know that.
because they said, oh yeah, that's what it was. They were scared to make a live action because they were saying people would not accept a Spider-Man that's not Peter Parker. Similar to people don't accept a Batman that's not Bruce Wayne. Damian Wayne Batman was a failure. But what's the other guy's name? Oh man, the Batman Beyonds.
Batman Beyond.
Yeah,
I forgot his name.
Terry McGinnis.
Terry McGinnis.
Yeah,
People
Terry
love
McGinnis. Yeah, was loved, but Bruce Wayne was in it. He was like an Oracle type role. So they kind of have the blueprint on how to make a good Batman without Bruce Wayne. And speaking of Batman, that new movie, I don't know. You made a video about it too. I'm not sold on it. Once I saw the casting,
I'm not.
And the fact that they're trying to do a rogues gallery, because these movie makers have a bad habit of throwing too much in one movie. Spider-Man 3 is like the perfect example, right? It's like literally the definition of doing too much. You have Sandman, Hobgoblin, Venom. Who else is a villain? There's another guy, right? Oh, and the black suit itself, the symbiote on Peter Parker. I guess you could say that's technically a villain.
My roommate loves Spider-Man 3, and I'm like, how could you love Spider-Man 3? It's awful.
It's bad, yeah. And if they had just chose one, if they had just did Sandman, I thought the movie had a lot of potential. Yeah. Just Sandman. Yeah, just Sandman. Because the Hobgoblin and Venom takes away from the Sandman arc. And then they have to come back to it and say he forgave Sandman. You know, that was a generally good message. But it's like one of those things where it's like, we forgot about this guy.
Then what about the emu dance with Peter Parker? That had to go.
That was a moment for like, it's become a meme. Like, it's one of those things they just did because they're like, you know what? We want to have some weird, funny moments. Jokes are okay. I guess you could say that's the beginning of the kid-friendly jokes in Marvel movies. Now that we think about it, it is the beginning of that, because now every movie, kid-friendly jokes, they're supposed to be fighting to the death, and they're making jokes. Like even in not Endgame, what's the one? Infinity War, when they have that final battle in Wakanda, they're like making jokes and blocking knives and shit coming at them. Like, you could die. like I would not be joking. Right?
And you know what's funny? You could be right. That could be another video on its own, how Spider-Man started the campy stuff. Yeah. Because if I rewatched the Spider-Man movies when I saw what was the first Spider-Man movie with the actor I don't like, Tom Holland.
Yeah,
Tom Holland. It wasn't far away from
Homecoming.
Yeah, I saw all the original Spider-Man movies before Homecoming, and they were campy as fuck.
Yeah. Were you hyped for Homecoming, by the way? Or no?
You said what?
Were you hyped for Homecoming or no?
No. Because I didn't like the kid in Infinity. I mean,
oh, that's right. Yeah, he was in Civil War.
The Civil War. I didn't like the kid. His jokes was not landing. Yeah. His jokes wasn't funny at all. He was just terrible.
Yeah, okay.
His voice was annoying in the Avenger movies too, so I didn't like him. And I told my roommate, I told him he's not gonna be good at his own film. He did not believe me until.
Yeah, I agree with that. I agree. Tom Holland cannot carry a movie. I think Michael Keaton did carry Homecoming. If you were to say the movie is good. Most of the people that said the movie was good credited Michael Keaton as carrying the movie as an intimidating villain.
I felt like they watched down on Michael Keaton's character.
Yeah, but you would you say he's the strongest actor in the movie?
He's the strongest actor, yes, but that's not saying much. I felt like they watched. I know what Michael Keaton could do on the screen. Yeah, he is a brilliant actor. They washed down his character. Like, seriously, we rewatched that movie. He is not that good. It was a Disney feeling towards it, and I can't. I could not believe how acting, how bad the acting was
It
all
was.
around. This fuck this film.
Yeah, there's a
Fuck
lot of
this.
overrated actors in that. Like Zendaya, that the chick who plays MJ.
Yeah,
Yeah, she's
she's terrible.
overrated. I actually
She look
watched her
like
in
a
a show
skinny
called
ass crackhead.
she actually plays a drug addict in a show that I was watching, Euphoria. And a lot
I
of
like
people would say, go
that
ahead.
show's that show was decent. Did you see the last episode of that show?
Yeah, yeah, the
That was
dance routine.
awful. It,
Yeah,
it was like
what
a rated R Disney dancing
yeah,
scene.
I was thinking this like what are they trying to do? Apparently the actors and the director confirmed that she lived. Like my theory was, oh, she died right there. That was an overdose thing, and she's like
Yeah.
ascending or whatever. And then they ruined it all by saying confirming that she lives, and they're coming back for a season two. Yeah,
I don't
the
think
show,
I'm
like you
gonna
said, the
watch.
show was decent though. The show was kind of watchable, but the last how many episodes are in that? 8 or 12? It's
That 8
eight.
or 12. Like for me, the show could have been great, but it's like they kept going back and forth with the script, and it didn't make sense. Like you thought something was gonna happen, and then it didn't, and then it's like, what? Wow, really? I don't know. I just the first episode was really good.
Yeah, I was gonna say like the first
I love
five
the first
episodes were
episode.
good. Yeah, I liked them.
Remember that scene where they hold down the black dude and look like they was gonna rape
Yeah,
him?
yeah,
That was
yeah.
bullshit. No, that in real life, if that happened to me, I'm calling all my niggas up, and we gonna. And he just let it go. Like I'm calling all my friends up. We about to fight this out.
I was
Y'all not
confused
about
on
to do
what
that.
the point was. That like a hazing thing, or why'd they do that? They were jealous of the girl, or I don't know.
I think it was a hazing
Oh,
thing,
okay, yeah, because I
but
was like,
it was terrible.
why did they lock the door? Like, who goes to a party and fucks and doesn't lock the door? So many
Exactly.
questions. Yeah, but speaking of locking things down, they have these fires that are happening in California. We talked about that a little bit before the show. And the minimal research that I've been doing on this, and this is like me coming across the tweet, I saw one of the scariest things that I think I've seen in a long time that confirms a lot of people's theories about how sinister the government can really be. So this is a little conspiracy theory video here. And what the people are saying is that the fires are projected to burn the exact route that a new railway system is going to be built in California. So, what does that say to you? Eminent domain, right? They're trying to burn the people out of the land so they can seize it for free. Either the people aren't willing to pay or get paid by the government to leave their land, or they don't want to pay. The government doesn't want to pay. They want to say the land is uninhabitable, blah, 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 this, and that. Then they could throw up that railway system, make billions of dollars because it's projected to generate just a ridiculous amount of revenue. What do you think about that? Is that too far fetched? Is the government only telling us the truth here? The unnatural fires just kind of came out of nowhere. What are your thoughts on that? Oh, and another thing, where I'm at, there these theories have been going back since 1998, I believe, and there's a theory that they're trying to develop because there's a secret military base near where I'm at, and they're claiming that they're developing a super weapon, kind of like, and don't laugh, the Death Star, right? This laser beam that can just shoot through. And there's animals that were discovered near where I live that were completely fried from the inside, like they were microwaved. So it's an untraceable super weapon that could ignite fires like the way they're doing and kill animals without a trace.
Wow.
Some sick stuff going on. Yeah.
Yeah. I believe it. I believe that these fires could be set up. I,
Yeah.
because think about it. If you burn a whole area down, you can put whatever you want on it. And there's going to be people that's not going to want to leave their area. And
Yeah.
there's going to be people that might want too much money if you try to pay them off. So why not just get rid of the area by burning it down,
Yeah. And
conquer it, and destroy?
and use that super weapon thing, because that those are two separate theories, but they kind of came together for this one theory. A lot of people are saying that super weapon is no joke, but at the same time, you could say, oh, they're giving the government too much credit. There's no way to make a weapon like this. I always am open to the idea though, because I'm not going to be dismissive one way or another. So I'm not going to say super weapons can't exist, lightsabers can't exist, this, and that, Death Star, because you have to think about how much power that's generating. And this just popped in my head right now. Have you heard about PG&E thing? PG&E is turning off the power grids, they say, to protect the citizens from fires. They're saying, oh, if there's power grids are on, the power grids may ignite, the fires may spread, and then you have all of California burning. This is a theory I just came up with on the fly. What if instead of turning the power grids off, they're rerouting the power grid to that super weapon?
That would be insane. And
That's
I
oh
believe that movies are connected to real life. Like
yeah,
they're showing us clues to
yes,
stuff. Because if you see the Back to the Future movies,
yeah,
you see huddle boards, and now you see stuff where you could just stand on a board and it just takes you somewhere. Like I got a feeling like they're showing us through entertainment
yeah.
what they're trying to do in real life.
It's social conditioning, right? Because
Yeah.
there was a guy I was talking to. This was about 5, 6 years, maybe even longer than that, about 8 years ago, who he served in the army and he was in Vietnam. He said that there was stealth bombers that flew overhead. He came back home, told people about it, no one believed him. He watched during the Super Bowl in 1999. That exact same stealth bomber flew overhead. That was the debut. I don't know if you remember that. Uh,
Mhm.
it was a Super Bowl 1999, I believe, or 98. A stealth bomber airplane flew over the dome when the Super Bowl was playing, when they did the national anthem, and then they had their jets, their F, what are they called? Doesn't really
F1
matter.
is not the
Yeah, yeah. I know F-150 is a truck. I was gonna say that they're like F-11 super jets fly past. Uh, and then they had the stealth bomber leading the charge, and everyone's like, "Oh, that's new technology." And it's like, this guy had to basically be written off as just some crazy conspiracy theorist vet that had PTSD. But he was up until that point. We're talking 40 years later. He was preaching, "Hey, they have this new weapon, this new plane that's a jet, and it's super thin, and it can't be picked up by radar." And they're like, "No, you just saw something else. Are you sure it wasn't a flock of birds?" They always do that kind of stuff. So yeah, technology is far, far, far advanced than what we have been led on to believe. And you could get into theories like Area 51. I believe that's a psyop. Actually, that is a psyop, right? It's fake. Area 51 is meant to mislead the people because they're willing to concede certain points to get you to stop looking. So all your attention's on Area 51. It's a sleight of hand move, right? All your attention's over here. You got this hand in your face, and then the real stuff is going on in this hand, right?
hmm
Yeah. So it's not what it seems, but I can say without a reasonable doubt, technology is far surpassed in what we've seen, and this somewhat proves it. I think that super weapon and all that stuff maybe in development, being tested, because they can think about this. They can do like 3, 4 things at one time. They can test the super weapon. They can burn the people out of California to develop this railway system, and they can get the people to believe anything. They can instill fear in the people, and they can say, "Oh, we need to turn off the power grids," but they're really rerouting it. No one questioned that. Everyone just said, "Oh, that makes sense. We're just rerouting. I mean, we're turning the power off, so to make it safe for us," because they always do that, right? They always use public safety as a means to enact these changes. We can get into things like the Patriot Act. We can get into all this, but that'll be hours and hours of content here. So instead of that, we can talk about something else we talked about before the stream, and it has to do with public safety. And Paul was telling me about a story of a 14-year-old who got the death penalty. And that got me thinking, should kids get the death penalty at all? Should they be absolved of all their crimes, or should they have to face the punishment that a lot of adults have to face? That's federal prison time. That's death penalty. So, want to kind of intro this story?
Um, are you asking my opinion on it?
Oh yeah, just give them a little bit of background on the story and kind of give your opinion too afterwards on the
Okay,
that case or any case about death penalty.
okay. Let me get my little notes out.
There we
Sorry
go.
for being unprepared. But yeah, it's this kid that was named Georgie Stinney. Yeah,
Yes,
Georgie
Denny.
Stinney Jr. He was the youngest person to get sentenced to death penalty at age 14 because they thought that he killed this girl that was like 11 years old and 7 year old named Betty and Mary. And he got the death penalty. Then in 2014, they found out with new evidence and stuff that he really didn't do it. So he practically got the death penalty at age 14 for no reason, just because he was black and they thought he killed these two white girls. Now, my opinion on it, I thought it was wrong. I thought it was sick. And if you read deeper in the story, they said that he was in prison for months before he could even see his parents. He didn't even get his call or nothing. Like he was practically getting tortured because they thought that he killed these two white girls. My opinion is if you're a minor, you should not get the death penalty. I'm sorry. Even if you killed somebody, you shouldn't get the death penalty. I feel like you should get some type of help. You should get some type of counseling. If you have to be in some medical center until you turn 18, then do that. But I just don't believe in a death penalty. I know you said in certain situations you do, but I don't believe in it, period. What you think about it?
Yeah, this is the area where we get into people exploiting the law. So, and what I mean by that is you've heard stories before, I'm sure you have, about hitmen in the hood being utilized by gangs
Yeah.
because they're underage. They'll
Hmm.
tell the kid, you're 14, you're 15, take this gun, kill this guy, you won't go to jail because you're a minor. And they do it. So if they're immune to the death penalty, they will have no fear. They will act in a state of lawlessness, right? Essentially. Now that doesn't mean that they can't go to juvie, they can't face any kind of charges for this, but having that death penalty looming over their head may cause the people to act better, essentially, or not better, but just not kill.
I feel like there should be no death penalty because what if what if somebody framed me, put some evidence or something, and then like a case like this years later, you found out I didn't do it and it's too late. You can't bring the death back.
Yeah, the system is definitely flawed. I mean, that's a
Yeah,
whole
you
different
can't
argument.
bring it.
But as for the death penalty in general, for adults or kids, I do believe kids receive lesser sentences as it is. I don't. Has there been any other instances where kids got the death penalty? This kid was what, 14?
Yeah. I'm pretty sure it happened. I gotta look it up.
Yeah, I'm
I'm
looking
not
it
like
up right now.
sure. But I'm pretty sure it has been death sentences that was probably for 16-year-old kids, 17. I just
Ooh
think
man.
that's just too young to kill somebody. I know they did a crazy crime, but that's just too young.
Okay, I'm looking at it right now. Since 1976, I don't know why they did that, but since 1976, all of the people that were put to death, with the exclusion of one, were charged as a minor, but put to death, executed when they were of age. So that's kind of a weird thing they do. So they wait till the kid. Yo, that's a good point. That's a good point right there, actually. What do you think about them waiting till the kid turns 18 to kill him?
That's terrible.
Yeah, because if you, I'm looking it up. So basically, no kid was ever put to death, but they waited. So the kid was 17 at the time of the offense. The trial took years. About 11 years later, he was put to death at 28.
Wow.
So he said it. He served an 11-year jail sentence, then was killed on September 11th of 1985.
That's two hells. Like, could you picture knowing you're about to get the death sentence, but you just don't know what day it is,
Yeah.
but you know it's coming? That's terrible.
Yeah, the most recent one was in 2003. That was the
How,
last person executed in the United States for crimes committed as a minor.
how old was that person?
When they did the crime, they were 17. When they were executed, they were 32. So yeah,
Wow.
he had to wait a while.
And then I don't get that. Like, if you're waiting that long, what if the person changed? What if the person's different? Like, you have a different brain when you're 16 and 17 than when you're
Yeah.
30. I know I did. If I didn't move out till I was like 27. And if I moved out at 18, I would have failed and moved back with my mom. Like, you
Yeah.
have a different brain and a different ability and mindsets at a certain age through your life. So that's why I don't believe in the death sentence.
Well, see, I don't know the nature of their crime. We have to kind of look into that. But I do know that retrials exist. So if you can ask for a mistrial, put in the proper paperwork, and you can get tried again, right? Isn't that a thing or no?
Yeah,
Because I
you
know
can.
because I know you can't get tried for the same crime twice if you're innocent, but if you're guilty, you can. So like let's say like the greatest example people use is O.J. Simpson, right?
Hmm.
O.J. Simpson could have walked out and said when he was sentenced, I mean not sentenced, when he was got the verdict of not guilty, he could have literally walked out and said I killed, you know, his wife and the other guy, and nothing could have happened to him legally. He could have been sued
Exactly.
in he could have been sued in civil court, which he was, but criminally he couldn't be charged.
So if you got sued in silver court and was guilty or not, you can still get time.
No, civil court is monetary, so you're suing for money.
Oh,
Yeah, and criminal court is a crime against society or a certain person, and that is the jail time.
okay.
And if the statute, and not statute, the preponderance of evidence is lower. So what that means is in criminal court, you have to prove without a reasonable doubt. But in civil court, you have to just prove that he had some knowledge of it or provide some evidence that he knew or even did the killing.
Hmm.
But any word on other kids that were executed? I think that was it, right? Just him.
Yeah, that I
14.
know.
Yeah, because most of them they waited, like we were saying before. And you're saying the death penalty in general doesn't exist. It it's funny that you say that because it seems like they are biased or inconsistent when it comes to giving the death penalty. Because look at somebody like Charles Manson, right?
Yeah.
Charles Manson died at like 80 something years old. And be- because he didn't actually kill anybody, it was a weird loophole. He was able to spend the rest of his life in prison but not get the death penalty. Because killing somebody is the easiest way to get the death penalty. But because he just was a cult leader, they technically couldn't charge him with like I guess a crime high enough to get the death penalty.
So you could get death penalties without murdering people?
Uh yes. Yeah.
Oh, that's crazy. I don't agree with that one at all. To me, you got to at least be like a psychopath, a killer for real to get the death penalty. But
Yeah, I'm looking at death penalties. Wow. Some of the death penalty stuff is kind of disturbing. Not many people have gotten the death penalty for other things, but a lot of them rape babies.
ugh,
I'm looking at the people who have gotten death penalty for sentences other than murder. Yeah, a lot of them are just they're raping babies.
that's disgusting. Did the baby still live?
Yeah, yeah, the baby did not die. And a lot of them are repeat offenders too, so they like rape multiple babies. Yeah,
Mm.
deathpenaltyinfo.org if you're interested in that.
Ugh.
Yeah, a lot of I hated that because a lot of trolls used to like to send uh child porn around. Speaking of raping babies, we went down a really dark path here
Yeah.
on the LimeWire. I don't know if you guys remember the whole pirating thing and getting music for quote unquote free in the 90s and early 2000s. I fell victim to that one time, and it was definitely a mentally scarring moment. You know, you watch 2 seconds of it, and you're just like, I never want to see anything like this again. Like, why would somebody watch it? Like even the weirder videos like women with horses. Okay, you might want to watch that. It's kind of funny. You want to see how it is. But when it comes to a kid, you're like, okay, this kid is obviously 100% a victim in this situation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's just. Whew.
So any other topics you got for me? Let's go. All right.
Um. No, we can wrap this up. I'm
Yeah.
depressed that my channel is suspended, but I will.
You wanna come back to that topic and talk about that a little bit more? Because we were gonna talk about the dumpster fire that is YouTube itself. This is a little bonus here, giving these people their money's worth, their time's worth, I guess you would say. And yeah, the YouTube is just definitely going down. There's a YouTuber that I actually ran into today. He did theory like sci-fi theory, so Star Trek, Mass Effect, Star Wars type stuff. And he got suspended. This I've never heard anything like this. He got suspended for replying to a comment. And you're probably like, what? What do you mean he got suspended for replying to a comment? That makes no sense.
Yeah.
The comment was so old that YouTube flagged his whole channel down for spam because he said, "Oh, I left. I had to take a break from YouTube, right?" And he's like, "It's 2019 now." The comments were from like 2000. Like he was an early YouTuber, so it was like 2008, 9, 12, 10, 14. So he's replying to all these comments from older people, and YouTube's like, you know what? You can't respond to comments. We don't want you to interact with your audience. We definitely don't want them back on YouTube, which makes no sense. Let's take your whole channel down. You're flagged for spam. He tried to appeal it. They said, nope, you're a spammer. He's like, wait, I was just replying to comments. Nope, you're a spammer. YouTube runs in, covers his mouth, and he said he's done. He said they say you can't make another channel either, which makes no sense. I mean, that's technically how the rules are on YouTube, by the way.
Yeah.
If you get flagged down, you're legally not supposed to make another channel. People do it, but you're not supposed to. I'm trying to find his account name too.
I want to have people actually made another channel and they got paid from their second channel if they became popular, or the YouTube finds out and said, no, you're not going to get paid.
There are bigger YouTubers that have been flagged down.
Mm.
And the guy's name is Julian. His Twitch name is Hey Juju, if anyone's interested in that. Yeah, there it is in the chat right there. And I don't watch his stuff, but he does Dungeons and Dragons style stuff. About an hour stream a week there. Dungeons and Dragons seems kind of fun. I know there's a lot of Dungeons and Dragons references in Stranger Things. I started watching that show, and I know you have some feelings about that show.
Yeah, it's entertaining, but it's not. It's just not good enough for me to watch. To me, watch it all the way through. Like
Oh, you dropped it?
You said what?
You dropped the show?
Yeah, it gets my attention. You know, it's something that's like it needs some more. Like you can pretend you're making a pizza. It tastes okay, but you could have put more stuff to make it good.
Okay.
I just felt like it was an average show, and I felt like if they add some things to it or do some more, it could have been a great show. The idea was good. I get what they're trying to do, but I I want more. I
Yeah, I
want more.
was one of those people that waited on that show a long time, actually. I just started watching it this year. I know it came out in what 2016,
Yeah.
and I kept seeing it on the homepage. Even to this day, I'm like, okay, we get it. And shout out to Dead by Daylight, the video game. That is what got me to originally actually watch the show, because there's characters in the game, and I'm like, okay, what are these characters about? I don't know who they are. I knew some of the characters' name. I know the Demogorgon, right? Because it's from Dungeons and Dragons, and it's like the main antagonist of Stranger Things season 1. So yeah, I just hopped on that, and I can't get enough of it. I'm on season 2, the last episode.
How many
And
seasons have they did?
there's 3, and they confirmed 4 is the final season. But there are shows that are really hyped up, and I get what you're saying. Like that to me, it's like it's okay, like it's watchable, but it's not worth finishing. And a show, I was talking to somebody about this today, is Attack on Titan. It's an anime, right? And the
Mm-hmm.
plot of the anime is that there's these giant creatures that will eat human beings, and they jump into their little compound, because it's a city that is surrounded by a wall, and these giant creatures come into the city and start eating the people. And the first episode, it's like what you were saying, right? The first episode is good, but then they just spend 4 or 5 episodes in a row complaining about how they don't want to die. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
it's that, so it's like it's kind of hard to get through. But somebody today was telling me wait till after episode 7 and it gets good. It's like I guess I'll start watching it again. There's another one that's kind of good. It's called like Vampire Rain or something like that. And it's an anime that's very similar to Attack on Titan, except with vampires. So I dug that one.
Are you gonna watch any of the Star Wars shows? Because I'm thinking about starting to watch some. I'm just curious. The trailers do look good for
Oh,
some of the shows.
the Disney Plus stuff.
Yeah, yeah, I could watch them all for free on my Fire Stick. So I'm like, I might, I might look into it.
I'm not even done with the DC universe stuff. There's so many shows. It's like you can't even really get them all down.
Yeah,
Because what is it called? Titans. There's Titans. There's Young Justice that's airing now. There's Doom Patrol, Swamp Thing, all on the DC universe stuff. And I'm somewhat invested in all those shows, but not
you got the
heavily.
DC app.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
What I did was I bought it when it came out, which was a mistake a lot of people said. But you buy it when it comes out, it's a year, and it's like $60 for the entire year.
So if you bought it later, you would have got a better discount, or
No, you would have. It would have been worse. I can look it up right now. Actually, DC Universe, I believe, is like $8 or $10 a month, or it's $79 for the year now.
damn. So I just watched that shit on my Fire Stick, and the quality is good.
Yeah. I don't have a problem with the show Titans, but it's there's so many of them. That's the thing. It's like
Yeah,
people with
they
lives can't
developed the
sit there.
story well to
Yeah,
me.
Titans. Yeah,
Yeah, too many characters.
What'd you say? They
I
didn't
said
develop.
to me, it's too many characters.
Oh,
You just can't. It's hard for me to watch group team superhero stuff because it just they're always going to give a character that doesn't deserve that much attention more time than others, and
yeah. Like
that's why I don't like the Avenger movies. Like why the fuck is Hawkeye like part of the focal point in some of the last Avenger movies? I mean, just because he was barely in it in the other few, like I didn't care that he wasn't in it. Like I don't know.
yeah. Same thing with Titans, right? You expect Robin to be the main character, and then
Exactly.
it ends up being Raven, right? And it's like, yeah, Raven's all right, but it's like we came for Dick Grayson.
Exactly. That's why I don't like group movies or cartoons, superheroes. I just don't like groups.
Yeah, Young Justice was good though. The original run. I'm not too sure about now. this is a spoiler, but basically, I think they said Robin's dying or something like that. He has a mystery disease. They always kill off the best characters, and then
Yeah,
at this point, it's just like I don't care who's gonna be the leader, the Aqua Lad or whatever. It's like
is Static Shock in the newer one a lot? Because I heard Static Shock was in it.
yeah, he is. He's in season, what is it, 3 or 4? He's in the newest one, yeah. Static Shock and Black
Oh, so
Lightning.
he's not in it from the beginning.
No, Static Shock and Black Lightning come in kind of towards the end.
Oh, jeez.
Black Lightning, another CW class. Is that a CW show?
Yep, a show I won't watch.
Yeah, okay. I haven't watched it either. I watched the first episode, I think the first couple of episodes when he met the albino guy, and then I was like, okay, I'm done.
With a superhero go to CW to die.
It's over.
That show, that channel is there for shows like that to die.
Because there's Batwoman, a glorious show. There's Supergirl, which I can't watch.
Oh, I tried one episode. That was awful.
It's like a romantic. It's like literally like a soap opera. It's like a teen drama soap opera. It's like Degrassi or something, but with superpowers.
Mm-hmm.
Did you watch that show, Degrassi?
Yes, I did. I love
with Drake.
Yep, I love that.
With Drake.
Mm-hmm. And him in a wheelchair and shit.
That's the only thing I know about that show.
I don't like the new Degrassi. They show too much gay shit.
Now, what do you think about them making gay super heroes?
Awful. Awful. I remember I bought a Spider-Man comic book like a year and a half ago, and one of the first issues, because it was like a reboot series, Peter Parker went to this gay wedding where two guys was kissing, and then I just stopped buying Spider-Man comics. I'm like, this is where we're going? Okay, then. They're not taking my money.
Yeah, and we can't say too much on this topic, but one thing that I think is crazy, I think the fan base actually created this. The fan base made a lot of these characters gay because they weren't willing to make the main superheroes gay. This has been going on for years when people said Batman and Robin are a couple, right? Yeah. I know you've heard that before. And they weren't willing to make them gay, but the idea was planted. And then they say, you know what, we'll just make other gay characters.
Yep.
So
soon they will make Batman and Robin gay.
Yeah, they will.
I don't know. Hopefully I'm long dead when they do it.
Yeah. What they're doing is they're just, like we said earlier, conditioning the people to get used to it.
Yep.
So I think that's a show for today. That a little bit of bonus in there. Got about an hour in. An hour and 12 minutes actually. About to be 13. Right.
Somebody comment on this video.
Yeah, we got a couple of views. This is a live one. It'll get some more after that. But I did see a couple of people pop in. So I don't know who this guy's at. I think one of your guys, William Soft.
He's one of my he been watching my show for a while.
What's insane, and this is another thing, we should do a whole show on the YouTube deconstruction of YouTube. How YouTube will bury for some, like your first video always gets the most views because that's how it is on this channel, right? This channel, the first video we put out had like, last time I checked, I didn't check recently, but have you checked or do you know what it is?
I checked like a week ago, but I forgot now.
Yeah, but like I saw it was in the hundreds. That's I can say that confidently. Like I was seeing hundreds of views. Like, okay, this is good. But then no one was subscribing. I'm like, okay. So my theory is that YouTube, for some reason, doesn't put a cap on your channel until your second video comes out. It's like a weird thing that they do. So your first video comes out, it's in the recommended properly. It's getting promoted, and people like to support the underdog, right? They like that guy. Oh, he has 0 subscribers, 0 views. Let's watch his video. But then your second video comes out, and YouTube's like, okay, we can categorize you now. Let's, even though you're talking about Star Wars, let's not put you in any Star Wars. Let's not put you on any recommended, actually. Let's just let your channel die.
And you could actually buy views. It's a system that if you give money, your video could show out more.
Hey, this is official too. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. The Google ad campaign.
Yeah,
Yeah, you could just straight up go and buy views. I mean, you're not buying views, you're promoting the video.
yeah,
Yeah. And what, like you said, you can pay, it's not that much. I think they say your projected views for 1 million views is like $3,400 or something like that, which in the long run I guess could help. But then how many of those people are going to subscribe, and how many of the people are just going to click off of your video?
the only way I would pay for that is when Star Wars come out. Because
Okay.
could you picture um I make some, my rants be epic
Yeah.
sometimes. And then could you picture people actually knowing about me? What if I have the most greatest epic rant of Star Wars video ever, and then that could have like 1 million views? Never
Okay.
thought.
I'm actually going to pull this up right now. Google. There it is. And we can do the screen share. This is how we're going to end the show, right?
Yeah.
So let's go ahead and, oh, I always forget to do this. Boom. So boom. So grow. I don't know what this is. I'm not going to click on anything because I don't want any private info to show. But long story short is you can have your video pop up. You see,
Yep.
this person's promoting a business. Boom. And you can do it for videos too. And I did click on that one time. This is live, so I don't want to do that because I think it did show like my full name and stream code or something like that. But let's actually stop sharing it and see what happens here. Google AdWords is now Google Ads.
I think we should make a separate video on this, like tomorrow or something, so people would know the details on how you could buy views.
Yeah, so this is like a little preview. I stopped
Yeah.
sharing the screen here. So yeah, Google. I'll have all the info pulled up. But Google, there's even YouTube videos on this. Google Ads has their own channel, and they
Yeah.
teach you. You're not buying views. You are, but you aren't. You're
Yeah.
buying promotion. So if you, let's say we spend that $3,500,
That's a
it's
lot
good.
of money.
Yeah, Google guarantees that you get 1 million views. Now, are those views real or organic? Yes and no, because what they're doing is they're playing your video as an ad before other videos. You've seen this before, where you're gonna watch a video, you click on it, and then like another YouTuber pops on the screen, and you're like,
Yeah.
wait, this is what isn't what I wanted, and then you click skip ad, or you watch it for some reason. I don't know too many people who've done that, but yeah, that's essentially what you're paying for. You're paying for your video, of any video of your choice, to be a pre-roll ad. So some weird stuff out here. It's a high risk, high reward type
Yeah.
investment. So yeah, you, like you were saying, you could get a big following. In fact, I guarantee if you're spending that much, you're guaranteed to get a following. So let's say your video plays before 1 million people,
Hmm.
and the biggest problem is that how do you know it's going before relevant content? Because it's random for the most part, unless I'm wrong on that. I don't know. I've never done it before, but I don't want my video ranting against Disney to be playing before a Disney video. They're not gonna click on that, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. So there's your little preview for the next show. Like you said, tomorrow I'm down.
Okay.
So tomorrow we will be bringing you a video on the flaws in the YouTube system and how to get ahead in 2019. I'm
Amen.
Upward Ninja, and I had a lot of fun. Did you
Yeah,
have fun?
I did. I did. I'm out, and check out my channel, even though it's suspended, The Fallen
Yeah,
King,
yeah,
and subscribe to this channel.
yes. And be
Let's.
part of the discussion too. I don't know how you feel about that, but I'm wanting to bring some more people on. Maybe some people with some opposite opinions, right? Let's say you love Star Wars. Come on, it's not even a debate. It's not a hostile thing. We just want to know why.
I know a couple of other YouTubers. I'm gonna see if I can try to put them on a show tomorrow.
Yeah, and
I'm gonna check.
yeah, I'll do the same. So that's it for today. Bada
Yep.
boom.
I'm out. Bye.